don't have an objection to it because they come out of your precinct.
Well,
With your equipment.
I replaced the tractor with money that I was gonna use something else for.
Sure,
Mhm.
absolutely.
So, I mean,
So if you will get with me, this afternoon, or sometime today, I'm meeting this afternoon, sometime today, so I can make sure how much you want to do in the budget amendment to that line, sometime this week, so I can prepare it before the next court.
okay.
Second. All in favor? Going to court to consider and appoint the medical directory of emergency medical services for 2020. And this is basically just continuing what we're currently doing with Dr. Kerr, correct?
Mm-hmm. Once a year about this thing.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion that we, that was a major word. Retain David Kerr as the medical director of emergency medical services.
Second. All in favor? Court to discuss and consider going under contract with Lexipol for EMS and county grant assistance. I'm gonna let you talk about this a little bit, because you know a little more than I do. Sounds good, though.
It's an opportunity for us, not only for EMS, but the entire county, to enter into a contract or an agreement with this company. It's a private firm that has grant writers that work for them. And they have different options that you can do. You can write a grant and get them to look at it and review it before you submit it. That comes with a fee. Or they will do a grant. They will search out a grant and write the grant for you for a fee. But it's a straight fee for service, whether you get the grant or you don't. So it's, but it's a lot cheaper than anything I've ever found as far as grant contract services. But it's not only for EMS, although they specialize looking for EMS type grants, but they're also able to do county-wide grants. So if there's a grant that you know of or that you want them to look for you for a grant, they will look for you and they will offer to write it for you, or you can write it, and then they can look through it to make sure it's good before you submit it, or they'll just look for it. So again, everything comes with a fee, so that's kind of what we're looking at. There's 2 potential EMS grants for capital equipment that I'm looking at this company to write. I have written grants before, and it's getting harder and harder to write grants without specialized grant training. And I don't know why that is the way it is, but it is. So this company that I found will aid you in whatever capacity in the grant form that you want them to aid you or assist you in that. So I know all of y'all, including me, are looking for grants, which we should be doing. And so this company could definitely help us at least find some grants and then do some legwork for us on how to apply or what maybe the special wording is for a fee. And the fees are significantly less than what I found in the past. So as long as we have money in our budget to allocate for contract services, which we all have a line for, I think that would be beneficial for not only EMS, but countywide. So we don't have to decide anything today, but I think it's something that we could definitely look at and review. There is one grant on there that's time sensitive for me specifically, but it comes up every year. But if I want to apply for it this year, I need to get that contract signed and have them look at it. I've applied for that grant a couple of times myself, and I never even got a phone call. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong, because I've gotten grants before, so I'm not sure. So I've kind of reached out and they're like, yeah, we understand what you're talking about, because there is some special little on census that they do that I'm not necessarily trained in, because I don't have any formal grant training, just the stuff I've done in the past. So anyway, I submit it to you as a potential contract for grant services that I think not only EMS, but the entire county could benefit going down the road. So.
And it's $5,000 would be the top, right?
5 or
That's what
6,
they would charge
something like that.
for the writing of the grant and all, which is reasonable? A lot of times they do a percentage of it, don't they?
They do a percent. I've actually paid up to 15%
Mm.
before for services, contract service, not necessarily grants, but it's anywhere from 7 to 15, sometimes 25, as high as is my experiences.
Right.
But I've paid for certain. Usually it's around the 10 to 15% mark, which when you're getting a $50,000 grant, that's a pretty good little chunk. So, yeah. And these guys are, from what I hear, are pretty good. So the references that I called on were that they did them a good job. So
Is that per grant? So it would be, if anytime somebody wanted a grant, it would be 5,000 per grant, for
Well,
whatever
that's-
department it was.
it depends on what kind of grant it is, and if
Mhm.
you're applying for 2 grants or
Okay.
3 grants, or the 5 grand that you're talking about would be if I say I want you to apply for these 2 grants.
Gotcha.
If I want them to apply for 1 grant,
Mhm.
they can negotiate and say, well, we'll do it for 1,500, or we'll do the legwork for an additional or a percentage off of what they generally charge. They even have sales, I guess, that they can do a 50% off deal on certain
Sure. Yeah, I
items.
see that.
It was in there in the deal, 50% off if you apply for both of these grants of our normal contract fee. And there's one grant that's called the SLAM grant, I believe is what it was called. And it's a pretty cool grant that's still being worked out through legislation, I think. But it would definitely be a good grant, looking at possibly big capital like ambulances and stuff like
And any department within the county would be able to use this
that. Yeah,
company.
that company. Yeah.
Did the prices change for the different departments? Cause I mean, this says Siren Act and all of that.
Oh, the Siren, not SLAM. Sorry, Siren. Yeah. SLAM is an airway class. Sorry. Getting my acronyms messed up. Yes, it would probably be determined on what kind of grant you're applying for, how much they're going to have to do on it. Because how, just as well as I do, federal grants are a lot more legwork than
Right.
state grants. And regional grants are a lot less legwork than the state and the federal. If you're going to go for a USDA grant, you make sure you got 5 or 6 pins ready.
These could probably help us look for security grants,
Mhm.
as well as maybe the MHMR grant.
Hurley Water Grant.
How many waterworks, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
So there's a lot of,
A lot of
I'm
potential.
gonna email this lady for some more information for countywide.
Yeah.
'Cause there's a lot of potential there.
They specialize in grants. I mean, that's
Mhm.
just what they do. And so, and she assured me over the phone that it was not only just EMS specific, although that's what I was looking at when I found them, that they would do county as well. So I think that was in the proposal that you got in your packets as
Right.
well. There was a specific page for county grants in your packets. So, this is one of these deals. I think it's definitely a potential win-win for the county. It's kind of whatever you guys want to do. I'm very hesitant about me rushing into anything. But there is one time sensitive deal. Like I said, it's a yearly grant, comes around once a year. So it's kind of whatever I'm not pushing you one way or the other. This is an opportunity.
What is the grant you got that's time sensitive?
The AFG grant
Okay, amount would be,
depends on what we apply for. You have to have a project. Most of the time in the past, when I've gone for an AFG grant, it was either for a ventilation system when we were building that bay in 2010. I applied for it then. I've also applied for updated our EMS costs when they're expired and updated, which are significant, mostly just capital equipment. Anything usually 10,000 or higher is usually what I'm going after. So with an AFG grant, as much work as it entailed for me, I wasn't going for pennies. I was going for the big stuff: cardiac monitors, stretchers, ventilation systems, just whatever I could to benefit the service. And 1 year I applied for the ventilation system and new bay floor, I believe is what it was. And then the other one I applied for a grant in an ambulance and was declined both times. So I don't know why. They never tell you why, or at least I never could get somebody to tell me.
So you're looking at anywhere from 30,000 to
Yeah, I'm going
300,000.
200,
Even more than
yeah,
that.
300,000 would be great. That'd be one heck of an ambulance.
Well, I
but
mean, that's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Ambulances.
You're trying to do it for an ambulance.
I would love to do it for an ambulance and some cots. That's, yeah. I mean, we can get real fancy and get a new bay floor and all that kind of stuff if it's grant, but that's those aren't necessarily, those are more wants. But ambulances are always in need as they rotate through, 'cause we haven't been able to rotate them like we need to
Mhm.
because of the funding. And the cost the same way. So.
Well, I would say as far as it's about the only, not stipulation, but what I'd like to see is Jason applies for one, Jim applies for one, Terry, it doesn't matter what, you apply for one, you apply for one, your department. That the cost come out of that department's budget.
Absolutely.
That's my, the only thing I'd like to see.
Yeah.
Not be, county-wide type deal. And that way, if it doesn't work for whatever reason, it's, that department is the one that's affected.
Right.
But I don't have a problem with it, because there's grants, just, I mean, it's free money, but if you don't know how to get it, you ain't gonna get it.
That's right.
I think there would be exceptions to that, and that would be like the MHMR grant that Angela was speaking of a while ago that was, I found, that TAC had sent to us, and I shared it with the judge and Angela, where there's $20 million out there that can be brought in, and I called MHMR to see if they had actually knew about it or had applied for it, evidently not. And so I don't know what you would do for that kind of,
They
Well,
don't
you would think
actually
they
have
county
budget
Right.
for that.
they may
Well, I
have,
mean, they're-
so
That,
we just want to make sure we don't lose a grant because we're,
right.
But I'm wondering if that could be counted because of the Standard Land Act.
That's what I
MHMR
was-
with Standard Land and all of that,
yeah,
so.
with the
But
judge, sure.
as far as, I mean, definitely don't wanna miss up on an opportunity to apply for a grant. And this grant is, what was $5,000 versus the man who was here was gonna charge us $21,000
No,
for
it was
30,
30.
Yeah.
for
30.
yeah, for 30 days or something like that, or for
Yes.
15 days.
15
and-
days.
Yeah, that's
But-
ridiculous.
So in the past, before I applied for a grant, I always made sure we had court approval prior to applying for it. And then we automatically knew that. So I don't see why that, with your stipulation, couldn't be done to say, we're
Yeah,
going
couldn't,
to go out for this grant, make sure it comes out of 409 or wherever you want it to come out of. And then,
of course, the problem with this one is that it's due by December the 3rd or 4th, December the 4th, I believe, and that has to be
Very early
in,
in
so you
December.
really might not have a chance to get it to the court to be
Wow,
approved.
yeah, gotcha.
So
Did not know that.
that's why I acted as quickly as I did and talked to MHMR, and I was gonna talk to Trey as well, and I thought, well, okay, MHMR is helping Trey. So that would probably be the best way to
And this
go.
one might,
get it
because
done.
it's through TAC, it might not actually have an upfront cost.
Yeah, it might not. That's true.
And COD might be a resource too. on that.
Mhm.
Especially with if you go through the Excel part on HMR.
And we just wanna make sure that we get as big a chance for that money as we can.
I'll agree with you on department wise, other than if it's gonna be one that affects.
Yeah, the entire county, yes, I did not think of that. No, I don't have a problem with that either. But, if Jason's grant is, time sensitive, it sounds like it is, and apparently this one is, I don't know why we wouldn't do that, because, what is it, a 2-year commitment, I believe what it said right here.
Yeah.
So you're gonna find out whether they're worth their salt or not.
If they're not, 2 years, you don't sign it. I mean, I think it would be money well spent, because if you get 100,000 for one department, you're ahead, you're way ahead.
Right.
So I make the motion, we enter the contract with electrical and give Jason approval for continue with his grant and MHMR.
Second. Thank you.
All in favor? Officer Reeves couldn't make it today, so we're gonna table that for, this meeting. He will, I believe, attempt to come on at our next meeting. And that's, his presentation regarding the Snyder Police Association and CLEAT. And, we'll just see what happens then. And we'll do line item transfers and budget amendments. Where is this?
There are quite a bit.
Yeah.
Into the year.
Yeah, Cindy here.
Okay, we're gonna start with line item transfers. Hopefully these are still in order. Nope, they're not yet.
Mine's in order, yours not.
Mine were in order, but
It's not.
somebody got into them. What am I? So, okay, county clerk, part-time, $1,000 out of general payroll, cover for the paying the election workers. Back one.
That's fine.
Non-departmental, do you want me to read all the lines?
No, that's not this.
Okay. The total of transferred is $12,560.42 into various non-departmental lines, out of various non-departmental lines to cover clear budget lines for the year. Non-departmental again, this is property insurance and medical coverage, $53,327 out of various lines such as liability, auto, professional liability, $53,327.30. District court, $20.61 for administration expense out of witness expense. District clerk, communications, $350 out of education and training. JP1, lease rental, $600 out of her drug testing and maintenance and repair. JP2, lease agreements, $400, maintenance agreements, $450. One of those is her tech line, JP2 tech line. And then both of those coming out of maintenance and repair miscellaneous. Auditor's office, $415.83 for office supplies out of education and training. Treasurer's office, general payroll, $14.69 out of part-time, needed for payment in lieu of vacation for general payroll line. Treasurer's office, medical insurance, $8,373 out of various lines, changes due to the new employee adding family members. Tax collector, postage $555, communications $140, education and training $170 out of maintenance and repair and equipment. Maintenance, elevator maintenance $100 out of miscellaneous repair and maintenance. Previous budget increase was not quite adequate to meet price increase. Why is this in the middle? Oh, this doesn't go there either. Jail, $9,000 in operating supplies, $4,000 into utilities, out of doctor medical fees. Sheriff office, $3,000 auto expense, $2,000 equipment, $1,000 to $5,000 out of fuel and oil and operating. Parks, this is from the Parks Department to the Sheriff's Department, $10,500 out of the Parks Department capital outlay line to the Sheriff's Department capital outlay line for a truck that they traded. This is the same instance or things except for Hermley Waterworks, and it was $8,500 from Hermley Waterworks to the Sheriff's for one of his trucks too. Health unit, $400 travel allowance, contract labor, $450 out of lab fees, lease rentals and equipment under $5,000. Parks Department, $199.21 out of operating supplies into, I believe it was uniforms. Extension office, $1,200 into office supplies, $580 and $410 in FCS demo out of fuel and oil, part-time and postage. Precinct 2 and Commissioner's Court Precinct 2, building ground maintenance, $8,500. Precinct 2 court phone communications, $500. Operating supplies, $1,500. Tires and tubes, $5,000 out of fuel and oil and road material and construction. Precinct 3, operating supplies, 7,500, part-time, 269, equipment, 1,000 to 5,000, 4193, out of fuel and oil. Board of County Development, newcomers guidebook, was 365.45. This isn't filled out correctly. Out of her 39.99 line, 365.45. I think. No, there's one more. Wait, there's two more. I don't know. I had these in order yesterday.
Please, man.
I got it now. I'm down to two.
Oh, sorry.
Permanently Waterworks, operating supplies 9184.42, and repairs 2013.58. Out of contract labor, construction, new lines, and utilities. He says, I'm trying to pay the bills. And airport capital outlay over 5,000, 35,000 from runway maintenance to replace the 1991 fuel truck from Fuel. Put irrigation sprinkler system around hangar 45 and to prevent erosion on slopes and save sod. That's all the line item transfers.
These are monies that they already have. They're
Yes,
moving it
just
around.
moving it in their own budgets to different lines to cover their lines. These are the, okay, I don't know why that is in there, but here is the budget amendments. JP2, cell service, $1,200. She realized at the beginning of this year that she did not get paid her iPad allowance, apparently for a couple of years, but we only went back retro 12 months. So that was $50. She takes her iPad, she does it for blood draws or whatever y'all do. I don't really know, but your judge stuff.
It's for DWI cases whenever they do a search warrant for blood.
Right.
Then they,
And then if you're at your home or during the night or whatever,
2
using the
o'clock in the morning.
iPad,
Yep.
she would get us a $50 a month allowance for that. So this was to fix that. It wasn't put into, and it wasn't communicated properly last year that she was going to get this. So this is to take care of that. Gel, sewer sump pump, $5,700. Sewer motor and grinder, $19,000. So total of $24,700. The sewer sump motor quit and sewer grinder quit, non-repairable.
and we don't want that backing up.
And he's here if y'all have questions about that. BCD Newcomer's Guidebook. And this one comes out of their BCD
Reserve.
line. It doesn't come out of the general. 2104.43. This is the law library for $8,000 for law books.
And I'll explain
That
that
also comes, oh, it doesn't have a signature on it.
when-
You signed in the wrong spot.
There
You
you go.
signed it there.
Oops.
This one also comes out of fees and fines and stuff. It's not out of actual general reserve. It comes out of fees and fines that are collected through all different offices.
Right. And we keep getting bills for as long as one for a little over 2,000 and another one for 600 right here at the end of the year, and it's just adding to the current law books that we have. So,
And they are pricey.
yes.
Yes, they are.
LE Construction and INS, which is the law enforcement complex. Administration expense, $590. Their expenses went up this past year, so we didn't have quite enough budgeted in there. And then Hermley Waterworks equipment under, should be over 5,000, $8,500 to purchase a truck for the sheriff's office.
And that comes out of their reserve.
Yes, that comes out of theirs. And that is,
Start.
I didn't see him next month, though. I'm gonna go get my stamp.
Second.
All right, we have a motion in a second. All in favor? Council second?
accounts payable from last court to this court, $743,261.87.
Make the motion to pay the bill.
Second.
All in favor?
I would like to just say real quickly on the payables and the transfers and stuff, because it is the end of the year, I mean, this is my policy anyways, but any line that is over we will not be paying the bills. We will be putting them back in your box, so if you have a line that's over, please make sure to get the line on transfer. Any department heads or anybody watching, please.
And that needs to be done by December.
The last court we will have before the end of the year is December 17th. I prefer do not wait.
Get it into your office.
Then so we can get it for the next court, which is December 3rd. That way we can just tidy up and do the final things that have to be done for the end of the year.
So preferably by our next meeting and not the last meeting.
Yes. 'Cause I will have to do payroll ones and stuff like that for the last meeting, but.
Second.
Motion to adjourn in a second, all in favor? All right, thank you, everyone.
Let her know.
Sorry.
I will get the parks to put
Do
some
y'all-
trash cans up there.
I'm still working on all this
Absolutely.
countywide voting
Yeah,
stuff.
it needs,
And I talked to the girl in
Yeah.
the clerk in Anson.
well, you know,
She
they,
said, 'cause
they
we've
should
gotta
be,
have some sort of backup in
that's-
case.
they should be paying a
Internet went
deposit
down.
too, and I would think they
Or
wouldn't
like
get
we
their
lost
deposit
electricity
back
at a polling
if they
place.
mess.
We still gotta be able to have Wi-Fi. And she said that what she has done, their
Yeah.
sheriffs have some,
Right.
like a computer in their car that has a hotspot card. Y'all have anything like that? Okay.
We'll get it
I didn't
taken
think y'all did, but, and she said they let her borrow one, and that way if it went down, they could use the hotspot, because our iPads and stuff will stay charged for a while.
We're in the process, if we get the CAD system up and going, the PD's working on, then I'm gonna piggyback off of that is my plan.
Yeah,
And,
Somebody.
then we would have that capability, but as of right now, we do.
we don't. Okay.
know.
Well, I'm gonna have to see if I can get one of the phone companies here to,
Yeah.
because I don't want to do a year contract on something that we only use one day a year for election day. That's it. Some people have hotspots on their
Well, yeah, you
phones.
can get a mobile hotspot. But
Yeah.
but you have to have one at each spot, right?
Well, we just need to have a couple,
just
so
have
if
one
it has
available.
available, if it happened, we could run it over there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we just need to have one available.
That
So
probably would be hard to do.
that's what I'm gonna go down and talk to them at AT&T and Cricket. She said Cricket was
Do
working
you
with
have a
them.
county phone?
No, I don't, and I don't have a hotspot on my phone. But I'm hoping I can just buy a prepaid or a pay as you go.
Yeah.
With a
you might be able to
hotspot.
do that. Yeah, I talked to them before.
Thank you.
No, it's someone who
No way to correct her stating that her taxes went up $350 1 year, 3 or 4 years ago. Showed where it didn't ever go up like that. In fact, over the total amount, counties went up 58, total taxing burden went up 198.
Okay,
Somebody maybe.
I don't know if this is a thing, but my boss asked me if there's any way I can get a list of the line item and budget amendments.
Did you not get
So,
copies of them
How
in your
come you do
packet?
$3 million?
I don't get a
Judge and
packet. I
everybody
just
else
get the-
explained that, but I'm glad to explain it. They should start talking to Jim about something else.
Might see if.
What is the budget amendments and
Did
stuff?
you- Did you go by my office?
I couldn't.
Okay.
I think
That's,
Cynthia has
that's the
copies
breakdown. That's
for
what
you,
I'm
yeah.
supposed to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, go
Because I
by,
keep all the originals. I've got all these copies.
yeah, I was gonna say.
I mean,
Okay,
if you
maybe on
want
this.
so, okay.
that's
is
all of the
this-
ones that were presented today.
This is all the line item and budget amendments
Mhm.
or?
So those.
Because I'll get the originals. Mine. Yes,
You
ma'am.
might need me to write on there, because they
Okay.
don't all write on there what
Yeah,
fund they
yeah,
are.
yeah.
So I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, if you could refresh
So
me.
If you don't want that.
No problem. I didn't even pay attention when I signed it. She had a vacation.
Okay,
day that
so in the future, I should go by your office.
Yes, sir,
on,
she'll have, you can go,
Like,
either the Monday or the Tuesday, she'll have your agenda.
okay, all
All
right,
of
sounds
them.
great.
Excuse me.
Steve didn't pass it on to you,
He did, he,
along with everything else, all in one big package, all this
Yeah,
information all at
it's
once.
a lot to
Yeah, absolutely, I understand
take
that.
in at once.
It is.
I'll write this out for you, because I know what it stands for, but you might not.
And there were a
I'm gonna
couple of
cheat.
them
I'm
on
gonna
there
take my
that
stamp.
you had said something about that there were errors or-
Oh, no, they were.
Sign it both
in
places.
my packet that weren't supposed to
Did you
be.
sign it in my
Oh,
place?
That's not supposed to be done.
Okay,
So I
yeah.
didn't, because they got.
There was something else going on at the same time, I just, Saw line and.
Saw line
Used it.
signed. Alrighty, I know next month's probably worse. Oh no, I think mine are, not for mine anyway, I think I've got mine. I got one more coming
What
because
your first name was?
I had
wrote
to
it
do one
down.
more for election workers
Angela,
instead.
okay, yeah. Couldn't read my handwriting.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, you need the second one?
I keep looking at the name and then I throw it away.
How you doing?
I know where you're from.
Same thing.
I know where you were. I know where you were.
I
Yeah,
did.
Michelle, yeah, so, Mike Moncrief, he works for Kinder Morgan.
He really good on.
No, he just, well, yeah, he's got some stuff in there, but he's just keeping, he sold his house and he's getting ready to retire.
Oh.
So but he sold his house faster than he thought he was going to, so he just needed a spot to camp out for a little bit till he gets another house bought. He's moving to somewhere around Dallas to a lake, but he's not quite to retirement yet, so he's got a few months down there that he needs to live somewhere.
I know somebody might have moved into your daddy's.
No,
barn.
actually, I let him, he's got a couple old cars that he restores, and he's got them in there, but he's a good.
JP1. That's all of them.
All right, I appreciate that so
No
much.
problem. Most people, I try to get them to put the department on there, but they don't always do it. Well, 90% of the time they don't do it, so.
Well, thank you very
No
much. I
problem.
appreciate it.
Not a problem.